All right, guys, I want to talk about my story, about why I decided to get in shape, why I decided to lose 40 pounds of fat and gain 20 pounds of muscle, why I've continued to sculpt my physique and look good to this day over the past 4.5 years. So, let's go back into time. January 2021. I was fat. This was after quarantine, and over quarantine, I gained a lot of weight. I was a fat guy. I was stuffing my face like a pig, and it ultimately led to me being fat. It's not rocket science. I just was a fat guy. I was depressed, and my girlfriend just broke up with me from back then. Said we should see other people, and was on FaceTime with another guy the night before this. So I was fat, I was heartbroken, I was depressed, and I didn't know what to do. But then I did. It was to get in shape. I knew that I needed to lose the fat. And besides the breakup, besides just being depressed, some other things happened. I got bullied in school. I got made fun of for the way I looked. People didn't take me seriously. Girls would laugh at how I looked, and everyone just looked at me as a joke. Everyone looked at me as just the fat guy, the fat friend. When I was with my friends, when we would go to places, I was just not taken seriously. I just looked like shit in my clothes, with whatever I was doing. My fat rolls were jiggling every time I was running on the beach. You know, I would go for a walk or a run, and my nipples and my fat rolls would jiggle. And people laughed. And, you know, even though I wasn't overweight or super obese, I just had a lot of excess fat. And I wanted to get rid of it. And all these things in my life happened because I was fat. And it just pissed me off so much. It made me really angry. And I knew that if I got in shape, that I would be more confident, that I would have a higher self-esteem, that people would take me more seriously, that I would be way more respected, that I would not be looked at as a joke, and I knew that I would inspire people around me, like my family. They're all in really good shape now. They're all eating healthy because I inspired them to do it by losing the fat and by staying consistent with my gym and nutrition habits. And I knew that I would show up to a beach and not have fat rolls jiggling. I knew that I wouldn't have to look at other people who were in better shape and be like, damn, I wish I had that. You know, I wish I looked like that. I could be like, no, I look like that now. I wasn't like thinking about it. I just took action and did it. And I knew that if I did nothing about this, then everything I just said wouldn't happen. I knew that if I sat on my ass, on the couch, eating like a pig, doing absolutely nothing and being lazy and making excuses and feeling sorry for myself, that this wouldn't happen. I knew that my life would just keep sucking ass if I didn't do anything about this. And I'm so pissed off about this. I talk about this in a really strong tone because I remember the feeling I felt that day. That horrible feeling. That feeling in my gut that I felt when I looked in the mirror and I was like, I look like shit. This is because of me and it's my fault. And I have to get myself out of it. It was a horrible feeling. It was a horrible feeling just, being with my friends and, other girls would ask for their numbers and they would look at me and they would laugh. I was the fat guy. I was the joke. And it was my fault. So I took my life more seriously. I took my habits more seriously after this. I was sick of getting bullied. I was sick of getting broken up with because of how I looked. I was sick of not being taken seriously. I was sick of going to public settings and looking like shit. I was sick of looking like shit in clothing and pulling my shirt to hide my fat rolls. Doing this with my shirt to hide my chin rolls. I was sick of doing that. I was sick of showing up to events, social events, and feeling awkward because I was fat. I wanted to show up with confidence, with authority, where people could look at me and be like, wow, that guy looks good. Where people could be like, wow, he takes care of himself. Not, oh, that guy's fat, It brings an energy. Like, I wanted to have more energy, more productivity, more testosterone, just feel better about how I looked, get more things done, be more productive at work, be more productive in my business, and just take myself seriously. Have a higher self-esteem, more confidence. Not have to feel insecure about how I look. That's why I lost the fat. And after I lost the fat, everything that I wanted, that I just said, I got. Now I do fitness coaching. Now I help guys who go through this struggle. I help guys get in the best shape of their life because I did this, because I've overcome it. I help guys who are unconfident and insecure look good, lose the fat, build muscle. And the people I've worked with have gotten such incredible results because of this. And the link to, the testimonials and my client, my client wins, that was a horrible stutter. My client wins will be in the description of this YouTube video. You guys can check it out. The link will be in the description. But what I'm trying to say here is that your life is 100 times better when you're in shape. People respect you more. You have more energy. You have more productivity. You look better. You feel better. You show up to places confident, with authority, and not the slightest feeling of insecurity. You can just breathe and be free and be like, I earn this body. It demands respect, and I feel amazing. That's what happens when you get in shape. You live longer, you're healthier, you're more productive, you're more energetic. You get more compliments, you get more attention. You can go to the beach and feel good when you take your shirt off. You can go to, events, group settings, social events. You can talk to people with confidence because you're in shape. People are going to ask you how you're doing it. They're going to be like, wow, man, you look amazing. How'd you do this? And you can say, because I dialed in with the gym, with my nutrition, and I stayed consistent. Stayed consistent with my calorie deficit. I kept showing up, and I kept doing this for a long time, and I look good because of it. People are going to ask you for tips and advice. I have people ask me for advice all the time on how I'm in good shape. Because I took care of my shit. I took action. And the level of intensity to take action was very high. The level of desire to do this was very high. I had an intense desire to do this, and I knew that if I didn't do anything about this, and I kept sitting on my ass and complaining like everyone else, then I wouldn't have gotten those things. You have to take action if you haven't. There's no reason not to get in shape. Whether you realize it or not, it makes your life better for the reasons that I just described. So if you haven't taken action, take action. Not tomorrow, today. Right after this video, take action if you haven't. If you currently are taking action, keep going. Don't stop. But that's all I got. That's my story. That's why I personally want to get in shape, and this is why I do fitness coaching. So if you guys need my help, the link will be in my description. It'll be my Instagram. You can hit me up. But other than that, I just wanted to share my story and motivate you guys to do this, because there was no better time to start than now. So let's get to work.